Did you know that Ronaldo and Messi now have a connection with an iconic Indian brand? Let me give you a clue. It's utterly, butterly delicious. In this episode of the Indian Billionaires Co, we are going to trace the journey of Amul, a brand that's been part of all our kitchens and is now the regional sponsors of the Portugal national team and Argentina's football team for the FIFA World Cup, happening in Qatar as we speak. Also, did you know that Amul butter flopped initially? But more on that later. The story of Amul is the story of a revolution. In pre-independent India, butter was synonymous with the brand Polson. But to get milk, farmers were exploited by contractors and middlemen. And since milk is perishable, they were forced to sell it at cheap rates. Naturally, farmers got agitated, and so they took their concerns to Sardar Patel, whose intervention led to the formation of Kaira District Cooperative Milk Producers Union Limited. It was formally registered on 14 December 1946, and the aim was to provide proper marketing facilities for milk producers of the district. How many times has it happened to you that some of your best experiences were all by accident? Something you didn't even want to pursue. The same happened with Dr. Varghese Kurian. In 1949, he very reluctantly agreed to manage a dairy as a government employee in Anand and ended up giving birth to Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation and the brand Amul, which stands for Anand Milk Union Limited. By the end of 1948, 432 farmers had joined these village societies and the quantity of milk produced was 5,000 litres a day. This rapid growth brought in new problems. The Bombay Milk Scheme, which was created to supply milk from Kaira to Bombay, could not absorb the extra milk collected by the union. In winter, buffaloes produce more milk than their summer yield. So they decided to set up a new plant to process this extra milk into products like butter and milk powder. The new plant not only brought about more success but was also a breakthrough in dairy technology, as for the first time in the world, products were made by processing buffalo milk. But did you know that in 1955, when the first packet of butter rolled out of the Amul factory, it flopped majorly because Indians were used to Polson butter that was fermented, yellow in color and salted. In comparison, Amul's unsalted butter made of fresh cream seemed pale and tasteless. Varghese Kurian was stunned because he was offering a healthy alternative, but to beat competition, he had to become competition. So he fermented and salted his butter. But Polson was using cow milk, which naturally produces a yellow color. And Amul was now heavily processing buffalo milk, which gives it its white color. So he added plant extract as well as a chemical additive to make his butter yellow. Now it was clear that Polson had set a benchmark and Amul had to supersede it. So they decided to create a moped to compete with Polson's Butter Girl. And that's how the iconic Amul Butter Girl was born. And let's be honest, sometimes the most pertinent news can be found through an Amul ad. It really does give you the taste and the pulse of India. In 1966, when Sylvester D'Cunha of D'Cunha Communications won the Amul account, he changed the narrative of the ads from boring to fun. Like Manyavar, Amul's ads also use sports and Bollywood as its major drivers. But unlike Manyavar, in Amul, there is only one constant brand ambassador for the last 55 years, the Amul Girl. Amul started to play the role of a social observer and a conversation starter. With its unique style of puns, integrations of pop culture, and mixing everyday and regional lingo with topics, the Amul Girl wins hearts each time, or at least makes you smile. At a time when comedians are put into jail for jokes, it is a risky time to play with humor in India. Even though D'Cunha's ads have controversial takes at times, Amul never ever goes through these ad drafts before they go up on hoardings. Can you imagine absolute creative freedom without client approval? And after all these years, Rahul Dekuna, who inherited the account from his father, says he's never faced a creative block because there's so much happening in our vibrant country that they never run out of ideas. Just like ideas, Amul also did not run out of milk when the pandemic hit in 2020. Even when the dairy industry was severely impacted and it cost Indian milk producers 112 crores per day. Although the demand from restaurants decreased, household demands for dairy went over the roof. This was the time when everyone you knew was becoming a home chef. Amul's resilient supply chain helped it gear up for this change. It gave cash incentives to workers during the pandemic, transported cattle feed from Punjab and Haryana to its farmers in Gujarat, and to avoid blockage and restrictions on roads, about 45% of its products were moved via freight trains. The plant could seamlessly handle 5 lakh litres of milk that it received daily. Not a single litre of milk was wasted, and all through the lockdown, consumers did not face scarcity of dairy products, nor were the prices inflated. However, in 2022 itself, Amul raised the milk prices by 2 rupees in all states except Gujarat. This is the third increase in Amul milk prices since March. Since milk is consumed daily, this food inflation will hurt the middle class and the poor sections of society as Amul is now widely consumed across India. I know my family swears by Amul, and in some ways we've all grown up with the brand. But for a brand that feels so close to home, you can't be a shareholder of Amul. That's because it functions as a cooperative, where its members are its 16 million farmers. And it also functions on a not-for-profit model. All the money made goes to the farmers and for footing supply chain expenses. Amul has now built this legacy. But as Indians get more environmentally conscious, they are shifting to vegan or plant-based alternatives. Amul's competitors like Nestle, Danone and Epigamia are already seeing the benefits in shifting to vegan products. But Amul does not even entertain this idea. Is this a missed opportunity for the company? What do you think? Tell us in the comments. Today, Amul is making historic strides with its first ever FIFA sponsorships to Argentina and Portugal's teams. Sports and nutrition are a perfect match. Amul has nourished India for several decades. It's now time for this cooperative to take on the world.